Let me just say a word about Mennonites here. We've got this up here, and a lot of people don't really know. Mennonite, the name comes from the founder, from the original prophet. He was a Dutch priest named Menno Simons, Dutch Catholic. And back in the 1500s, he read the Bible, which was unusual at the time. And he discovered an enormous discrepancy between what the Bible said and what the established church was doing. And he decided to go with the Bible. And when you do that, you are going to get into serious trouble. And he and his followers did. Because the established church, wherever it was, had made its peace with various rulers. And they enjoyed many privileges in exchange for supporting the wars that those rulers were waging. And there were many of them back then. The Mennonites did not find authority in Scripture for aggression. They believed that Christ favored a spirit of peace and forgiveness, and they refused to take loyalty oaths. Their loyalty was to God, and they were Anabaptists. They believed in baptism only on confession of faith, not baptism of infants. So they were attacked by everybody, by Catholics, by Protestants alike. In Switzerland, they were branded on the forehead. Catholic Bavaria, they were burned alive. But if they recanted, then they would be beheaded as a mercy there. And Lutheran states in Germany, in Germany, they were executed by drowning or burning at the stake. In Austria, their homes were burned. I mean, it just went on and on. So they became fugitives, and they worshiped in secret and fleeing from one city to another. Menno Simons was declared a heretic, and his followers were persecuted for possessing his books and everything else. And because they believed in the authority of Scripture, literacy was important to them. Everybody should be able to read the Bible. And so they founded schools. This was a part of their tradition going way, way back. The first to arrive in America, they came to Pennsylvania around 1683 because William Penn had promised religious tolerance, and that was good. And they were accepted where they were accepted because they were very good farmers. Catherine II welcomed them to Russia. Later, they were expected to enlist in the military, and that didn't last long, so they had to come to Canada. They had to come to the U.S. They believed in religious freedom for everybody, believed that the truth could only be known if we could discuss these things openly. And they became singers, as I mentioned. They became great, great singers. They were not that popular when they arrived in America because they were not supporters of our Revolutionary War, and many of them refused to pay the war tax that paid for it. And they treated American colonial soldiers and British soldiers with the same humanity, and gave them shelter and gave them medical assistance. And this was not popular at the time. But they hung on, and they brought their hymnal with them wherever they went. HWB Hymnal, a worship book. The current issue comes out in 1992.